Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob and today we are going to be continuing the memory mapping narrations for IS3, aka Mizuki and Cerulean Arbor. And today we shall take a look at the one added for Operator Specter, the Unchained. And of course, before we begin, quick reminder that the different memory mappings in this game mode are all parts of a what-if scenario depicting the individual fates of these operators and their struggle in the war against the Seaborn. However, even if the fates of the operators and the stories around them are what-if scenarios, do keep in mind that these are still depicting stuff from the actual Arknights canon and world building, and do add to the actual world building of Arknights itself, and do carry some interesting details that have not yet been even seen in the regular story. So do keep that in mind. They do carry little bits and pieces of information that may or may not appear in future stories, and whenever this this whole Iberia Ager Seaborn stuff continues in the future with whatever side story or whatever else comes along. And of course, if that piqued your interest and you have not yet had the opportunity to see the other memory mappings or even the endings that are currently available here in this game mode, the description of the video has two playlists at the very top for both the mappings and the different endings. So have a look, have a listen, maybe you'll hear something new and something interesting, and maybe something heartbreaking as well, because that seems to be a motif of all of these. But anyway, enough stalling, let us proceed into our memory mapping for today. So then, this is memory number 5, titled Lost in Oblivion, and it says here on the left, memories can be described, recorded, and preserved. But what of emotions? Part 1. Laurentina gazes absent-mindedly at the flickering lights under the ocean in the distance. The tide of monsters has ebbed. Another Ager city has survived. For now. Pain and death are a fact of life these days, with devastation as far as the eye can see. This is an old city with a glorious history, and one still sees a vestige of eminence and pride in the buildings under the dome, even from a distance. The Abyssal Hunters were no longer allowed to come near the cities after the betrayal, while the more primitive hunters are placed under close surveillance. They push the tide forward, but they have no home. Not anymore. Laurentina did not complain about this. She could feel the impatience and anxiety in her blood every bit as much as her captain could. They have come face to face with a predestined death, or worse. A death that has already begun, and all they can do is endure the long decay. She continues to gaze at the Ager city. It has reactivated, moving towards a line of defense that has retreated to who knows where, towards a destiny that awaits who knows when. The lights disappear into the seabed. Deep in the ocean, the sunlight is but a distant memory thousands of meters above. It must exist, but nobody can perceive it. Darkness embraces her once more. Laurentina notices that the currents have changed. Her captain is leaving. Gladia has not spoken for years. She detests her own voice. After years of working together, however, they no longer need words to understand each other's intentions. This is how things must be until the decay is finally complete. Trust is too shallow, too callous a word to describe their relationship. It is simply the bond of blood that the Abyssal Hunters share. They have seen the end of this relationship many times. They know what awaits. It is not yet time, but neither is it far away. It could be in 2 months, or it could be tomorrow. Laurentina reminds herself to get a new saw blade the next time maintenance comes around. The filth returns. She decides not to think about the future anymore, at least until the dance has ended. Part 2. One dance after another, yet her partners are always silent. Laurentina tires of it. This is not a true dance. Broken limbs dissolve in the water, but the singing is deafening. It is their song. She acknowledges its beauty, but it cannot catch up to her steps. Her final partner turns to dust. Its photophore grows dim, and she is once again in familiar darkness. There are no waves deep in the ocean, replaced by the omnipresent weight of the sea. Is this peace? Valentina is perplexed. Fragments of thought tell her that peace should be shared with others. Peace comes with another song, one that is warmer, gentler. What was the tune? She closes her eyes and tries to remember, but their chanting is cacophonous and inexorable. They snuff out the slightest ripple, allowing only themselves to linger in eternity. A blurred silhouette flashes across her mind. Peace. Is it peace, or is it fear? Laurentina takes a few steps forward. She stands on her toes, then pirouettes. Her arms should be lighter, lighter. Then she bends down and turns again. Should her hands be holding something? Had she danced these steps with someone else in the past? Where is that someone else now? As a partner, they were clumsy, but far better than these. Memories entangled like threads. Laurentina knows how to untangle them and find the ones she seeks, but decides against it. What is the point? She does not know where it will take her, and she does not want to know. What has come to pass is more abhorrent than what is to come. It is time for the next song. Their chorus is overwhelming. Laurentina does not want to be overtaken by the song. She straightens out her skirt and welcomes the next group of dance partners. Part 3. It is a beautiful stone, white and regular, half buried in the soft sand like an exquisite dessert delicately placed under the waves. This is a good place, she thinks. No one will interrupt her here. She has walked for a long time by herself, through broken ruins, through slimy fragments, through song, through death. Finally, she came before the stone. It was a coincidence. She never set a goal for her journey, but that was for the better. The best moments are often unpredictable. She approaches the rock and touches it. The knowledge she had once held was buried in the dark depths along with her name, but the emotions remain. She has given up on describing them, but they are undoubtedly present in her trembling hands. She has not trembled like this for many, many years. She caresses the stone, trying to capture some warmth, but feels nothing. She no longer feels changes in temperature. She runs her finger over it and feels a slight resistance. It is a good rock, which feels almost as though it could cross beyond eternity. She had touched a rock like this one afternoon beyond distant time. Back then she believed that there was something that could resist time, resist death, resist the impending end, but perhaps not allowing fate to have its way was itself a form of resistance in its own way. Connected. The words she had heard so many times had long faded beyond recognition from her memories, but she at least knows that no one is connected with her anymore. It is time. She understands that she can delay no more. She slowly raises an arm. That which was once called a weapon is now a dried husk, but it is enough for the work ahead. The stone peels away, piece by piece. A little more, a little more. She closes her eyes it is done. She has liberated the void from form and entrusted her fate to it. The waters rise and ebb, washing away all traces of both the stone and the silhouette from the beach. And that was the memory mapping for Operator Specter the Unchained. Once again, depicting pretty much the final moments of an operator in this never-ending struggle. And I was thinking about this earlier when I was rereading it before this recording, but I can't remember from the top of my head. I know she has an artistic background. She knows a lot about sculptures, which is essentially what this part 3 here depicted her doing. And yes, the part 3 pretty much insinuates that she is, at this point, pretty much a full-on Seaborn, but some part of her that is still lingering and is still present had a little of a go there and left some form of statue. Which brings me to the question, has she ever made a statue of her own? I can't remember. I was trying to remember earlier, but I cannot remember if she ever made one of her own. It's been a year since Stultifera. I think something came up during that story where it was either described or told about, and I cannot remember from the top of my head right now. I have a feeling I read it somewhere, and I cannot remember where. There's a lot of text in this game, so excuse me. But if anybody remembers, do leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to remember and reread that section. If I'm correct, and I don't think I am for this specific memory, but if I'm correct and she never made an art piece besides making herself into a, well, hybrid, essentially, along with the other Abyssal Hunters, and declaring that some form of masterpiece, but not counting that, did she ever make a statue of her own? I don't think she did. I think she never made one, so this makes this ending even more sad and poetic. Her first and final statue, and who knows how it looks like, and what it is actually. I would actually love to know what she made. Was the final art piece just a statue of herself or someone else? Who knows? Maybe she made a statue of the Abyssal Hunters that were closest to her, but we will never know. This is part of the what if scenarios after all. But anyway, to bring this to a close, thank you very much for listening. If you like this video, please consider leaving a like. As always, it helps me a lot, of course. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. There's a lot more on the channel besides these memory mappings and stuff about IS3. So have a look. Maybe you'll find something you just want to sit back and listen to from the world of Arknights. And it's also voice acted. Of course, as of a recent small change to the channel, if you want to support me and my work more directly, there are memberships now on the channel, and I do want to reiterate that no video ever will be behind a membership paywall or anything else. It's literally just there to support the channel more directly, and pretty much on topic, if you do join a membership, you'll become one of we many. Yes, that's what I named it. Look, it's thematical. Anyway, thank you very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.